Do you know what kind of door you're looking through right now? No, not the sliding glass door to your backyard with smudges and a cat nose print. I mean the metaphorical one, the filter between you and reality. Because everyone's got one. Some doors are crystal clear. Some have glass that's falling out, cracked, and badly in need of repair. Some are ornate doors with stained glass nightmares that have their own unique view of the cosmic nonsense. Here's the deal. We all live in little metaphorical houses, built out of life experience, trauma, culture, bad therapy, and that one dream you had about spaghetti gods. From those houses, we look out at the absurd front lawn of life. That lawn is absurdism, our shared space of chaotic order where failure is mandatory and kindness is the ultimate act of rebellion. But how you see that lawn, that's through your personal view. Your door, your reality tunnel, as Robert Anton Wilson put it. Think of it as your personal Snapchat filter for reality. The important thing to remember is that no two views are the same. Every single one is screwed up, incomplete, ridiculous, and 100% valid. While some folks are peeking out through science equations, others are dancing with angels, ancestral spirits, or void cats. Some of us threw the door away entirely and are just screaming into the wind. That's cool. We don't care what your door looks like. We just want you to know you have one. And more importantly, try not to be a jerk about other people's doors. That's what our new series Through the Screen Door is about. Cult members sharing their weird personal views of reality. Not doctrine, not rules, just beautifully filtered nonsense. So, want to know what's beyond our screen doors? Join us on the lawn at thecultofbrighterdays.org. Bring your door. Or don't. Just try not to trip on the sprinklers. What if God isn't a person or a plan or a place? What if God is just, what is it? Once there was a boy who loved stories, magic, fantasy, horns that brought down city walls. He went to church, everyone did. They said God was good, that God had rules, that God lived up there somewhere. But the boy mostly got distracted. He didn't fear hell, he just wanted to live in Narnia. One day, someone gave him a strange little book. Not a Bible, not a textbook. It was called Illusions, and inside it there was a line. The original sin is to limit the eyes don't. He didn't understand it, not yet, but he kept the book. Years later, while avoiding chores and trying not to fall apart, he read it again. And this time something clicked. God wasn't a name or a being. He wasn't someone you prayed to or feared. God was the self, the thing behind the thing. God is the feeling you get when a page opens at just the right moment. The weird magic of books and signs and symbols that don't make sense until they do. He didn't need to believe in God. He trusted the is. Even now, he's still afraid of death. He's still unsure what comes next. But he remembers this. Imagine the universe beautiful and just and perfect. Then be sure of one thing. The eyes has imagined it quite a bit better than you have. Want the full story? Read the parable of the book that wasn't about God at thecultofbrighterdays.org. Sometimes the best answer isn't written down. And sometimes it is. Ever wonder what would happen if God showed up without filling out the proper paperwork? Let me tell you a story about bureaucracy, mystery, and a very, very inconvenient door. In the beginning, there was an archive, endless shelves, flickering lights. It held everything, unanswered prayers, broken dreams, discarded philosophies, filed by no one but the archivist. She didn't seek truth, she sought order, categorize, document, contain. Then one day, a door appeared. No label, no paperwork, no explanation, just there. She filed a Form 7B for unauthorized apertures. It came back stamped, approved for mystery. And that's when things started getting out of hand. Behind the door, a laughing hallway, dancing filing cabinets, and at the end, a child with golden eyes and ink-stained fingers. "Hello," he said. "I'm God." She frowned. "You're not on the list." "I know." She inhaled, slowly, deeply. You're going to make this complicated." He grinned. "I always do." And then, without permission, without form, without classification, he handed her a new folder. It was blank, except for the cover. The Cult of Brighter Days. Read the full story, The Parable of the Archivist and the Door, at www.thecultofbrighterdays.org. What if the afterlife isn't about what you believe, but about what you do? Let's play this out. You live a good life, you help people, you teach your kids kindness, you open your home to neighbors after a fire, you give up your amusement park day to save strangers in a car crash. You show up again and again, not because someone told you to, but because it's right. Then you die, and at the gates of the afterlife, you're met with a smile. But you hesitate, because you didn't believe. You didn't check the God exists box. And now you're wondering, does that mean you don't get in? That's the story of Bob. Alice believed, Bob didn't, but they lived the same life, kind, generous, decent. So what matters more, belief or behavior? And what if the boss upstairs is less interested in praise and more impressed with plumbing for the homeless shelter? The parable of Alice and Bob asks that question. And spoiler alert, the answers might surprise you. If you've ever wrestled with doubt, if you've ever wondered whether you're good enough without a gold star from the universe, then you're not alone, and you might already be doing more good than you think. Want to know more? Read the full story at thecultofbrighterdays.org. We're not a hotline to the divine. We're just trying to help you get through Tuesdays. Ever get the sneaking suspicion that you're living the same lesson over and over, just with better costumes and worse Wi-Fi? Maybe you're not crazy. Maybe you're just not finished yet. There was once a soul named Juniper. She danced with fire in one life. Quite literally, she was a traveling performer, a chaotic angel of smoke and scars. In this life, Juniper died in a fire she refused to run from, saving someone who would go on to heal 1,000 more. Then she came back, a farmer this time, trying to fix the world's heartache with herbs and good food. And when her brother died, it was always soul. They were cosmically linked, bound to travel together in life. When he died, something in her unraveled, until she learned to sit still, to hold grief without trying to fix it, to grow things that weren't hers to control. And then there was the life that might sound familiar, the one full of tech addictions, burnout, and spiritual influencers selling $300 moon water. She tried to heal the world again. She cried at the dentist, dated the same jerk over and over. Once she even stole a crystal, and buried it 3 years later with a note that said, "My bad," but through it all, there was Soul, her brother, her anchor, her stoner sage with a gravel laugh and a heart like a weighted blanket. Whenever the world cracked open, he'd just look at her and say, "It's all right." And when he died, too soon, too fast, she heard him in dreams, in the laughter of crows, in thrift shop t-shirts, and eventually, she started saying it too. This isn't a story about perfection. It's about trying, failing, coming back, and whispering, "It's all right," to your messy, beautiful, unfinished self. Want to read more? Spoiler, it involves tea with Faye, cosmic report cards, and a spoon that got stolen by something with too many teeth. Read the full parable at thecultofbrighterdays.org.
Have you ever wondered if there's a reason behind it all? I'm not talking about your job or your horoscope. I mean everything, the whole pattern, the strange beauty, the unbearable mess, the way it all threads together. Imagine this. The universe is a vast weaving loom. And within it, the threads, each one is a life. A moment, a choice, twisting and turning together in a tapestry. No single thread can see the full pattern. Most just move along, unaware. Some shine bright, Some get tangled, but one thread, called Inquisitor, asks the questions most of us avoid. Why am I here? Who's weaving this? What is the bigger pattern? The Inquisitor pulls away, searching for meaning, for the source of the pattern. And what it finds isn't a person or a god, but a principle, an unseen rhythm beneath it all. It's not a grand plan, just an endless unfolding. Its meaning isn't something given. It's something made by how the threads move together. And when the Inquisitor returns, it doesn't preach. The Inquisitor invites, not to believe, but to wonder, to look closer. So if you've ever questioned the pattern, if you've ever felt like a tangle in the loom, you're not alone. The parable of the weaver and the threads lives at thecultofbrighterdays.org. Come trace the threads for yourself.
All right, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time there was a tavern, way out past the last star, where the universe starts to fray at the edges. No map can lead you there. You only find it when you've got more questions than answers, and just enough hope left to walk through the door. And if you make it inside, you find a quirky little spot that's warm, weird, and always smells like something nostalgic yet slightly suspicious. The drinks there are perfect, always exactly what you needed, even if you didn't know what to ask for. But here's the thing. No one has ever seen the bartender. Some folks say, well, obviously the bartender's just in the back, watching, judging, planning something, probably. Others say, nah, it's automated, or cosmic chance. There's no bartender. We just want there to be one because we're afraid of the quiet. And then there are the folks in the corner muttering, the drinks are poisoned anyway, so who cares? One night a stranger walked in, wearing a hat shaped like a question mark and a grin that doesn't quite obey geometry. In keeping with the conversation, someone asked the stranger, "Hey, you believe there's a bartender?" And the stranger just shrugged. "Does it matter?" they say. "If I tip, I believe. If I don't, well, we're still drinking." Then they pull a golden apple from their coat and set it on the bar. This weird apple is engraved with just one word, cheers. But the apple didn't stay put. As soon as the stranger put it down, it quickly rolled away, laughing. Nobody chased it. Nobody even looked up. Because, well, the drinks were still coming and the music was good. Stories like this? We don't tell them to prove anything. We tell them to reflect. This is how each of us finds meaning, mystery, and maybe a little mischief. Want more tales like this one? Come visit us at cultofbrighterdays.org. We've saved you a seat. Just don't ask what's in the lemonade. Are you crossing the bridge? Or just yelling from the edge? There once was a town divided by a river. On one side stood the bridge of belief. On the other, the bridge of doubt. And in the middle, the town square, where life happened. In the town, people worked, loved, argued, helped each other move couches, and survive funerals. Nobody really knew where the bridges came from. Some said belief was built by divine hands during a cosmic bender. Others claimed doubt was carved by overcaffeinated philosophers trying to outthink death. A few said it didn't matter, because what mattered was crossing. Most people crossed. They showed up. They helped. They lived. And then there were the bridge sitters. The sitters perched on the rails of their chosen bridge, arguing about bridge philosophy. Some yelled that only their bridge was real. Others demanded a metaphysical GPS before crossing. A few just wanted applause for thinking very deep thoughts in very serious fonts. Sometimes, two bridge sitters would scream the exact same thing at each other in different aesthetics and call it a debate. Meanwhile, the town kept going, kept living, kept sharing soup. Because the bridges weren't the point. Showing up was the point. Listening, dancing, grieving, sweeping the street. That was the point. And if you only show up because you think there's a prize at the end, you're not doing it for the town. You're doing it for points in a game no one's keeping score in. As for the sitters, well, the town had rules. Be kind. If you can't be kind, be nice. If you can't be nice, be funny. If you can't be funny, shut up. And if you can't even shut up, maybe don't cross the bridge. Want the full parable? Read The Parable of the Two Bridges at thecultofbrighterdays.org. And remember, it's not about which bridge you took. It's about what you did after you arrived. All right, here's a challenge. Can you believe in something that might not even exist and still be better for it? Because today's parable features a cosmic house cat who's smarter than your favorite philosopher and sassier than a caffeinated oracle. Meet Pixel, our resident quantum cat. And not. Both judgmental and disturbingly adorable. Pixel sits in the yard beyond the screen door watching humans, tiny flesh muppets flailing through the cosmos, ask the big question. Is God real? And then Pixel laughs. Not to be mean, but because that question is so painfully human. See, the human in this story is spiraling. Reading books, searching for meaning, trying to shove the entire concept of divinity into a box labeled true or false. And Pixel, who exists in 17 dimensions and only pays rent in 2, offers this truth bomb wrapped in fur and smugness. God isn't in the box, and not the box, and the idea of a box, and the weird feeling you get when you think about boxes too long. Pixel's point? Existence isn't binary. It's messy, mysterious, gloriously ridiculous. And trying to trap something like God or meaning or love or even your own identity into tidy categories. That's like asking if a lemon is left-handed. Instead, ask this. Does your belief make you kind? Does it make you curious? Or does it make you cruel and afraid? Because that matters more than cosmic spreadsheets of truth. So yeah, maybe God's real. Maybe not. Both. But like Pixel says, don't limit the is. And whatever you do, don't try to pet a quantum cat without consent. If that twisted parable just made your neurons giggle, or your heart twitch a little, we've got a whole buffet of cosmic nonsense waiting for you. Slide through the screen door and visit us at www.thecultofbrighterdays.org. Bring your questions, your contradictions, and maybe a snack. We'll bring the absurdity. What if the chaos in your life isn't a mistake, but the beginning of a pattern you were never taught to see? There's an old parable we tell. It begins with a tapestry, one so vast, so intricately woven that no one can grasp the full design. And behind it all, hidden from sight, a weaver. Because we can't see them, some say there's no one at the loom. Just random threads, frayed edges, meaningless knots. They point to the mess and say, see, no one's in charge. Others insist the design is rigid, predetermined. That everything's been stitched before we ever arrived. No room for change, no space for wonder. And then there are those who claim the weaver chose only them to understand. Their certainty, louder than truth, but only a few step closer. They run their fingers along the threads, joy woven beside sorrow, love braided with grief, order knotted up in chaos. They don't pretend to know the whole pattern. They just see enough to keep watching. A child asks, if the weaver is hidden, how do we know they're real? An old woman, hands scarred from years of mending, replies, because the threads hold together. The child frowns, but there are loose ends. She smiles. Yes, which means the weaver is still at work. Want the rest of the story? Come find it at cultofbrighterdays.org. We're not here to give you answers. We're here to hand you a needle. So, you've peered through the screen door, heard the parables, felt the glitch in your cosmic Wi-Fi. Maybe you laughed. Maybe you cried. Maybe you rolled your eyes so hard they orbited your third chakra and came back enlightened. But before you go, let's be clear about something. This isn't a religion. It's not a club. It's not a very serious attempt to sell you metaphysical supplements. It's a lawn. Yeah, a weird, overgrown, dandelion-covered, squirrel-haunted lawn where you are invited to show up, messy, uncertain, angry, joyful, tired, alive. There's no correct way to cross it. No dress code, no cosmic attendance sheet. Just bring your weird, your door, your heartbreak and hope. Because whether you believe in a God who catalogs every atom or a universe that couldn't care less about your recycled affirmations, there's still kindness, still beauty, still people who choose to tell stories that don't flatten the mystery, but lean in with a wink and say, yeah, it's weird out here. Want some lemonade? And if you're wondering where to start here. Be kind. If you can't be kind, be nice. If you can't be nice, be funny, without punching down. If you can't be funny, shut up. And if you can't shut up, go away. That's it. That's the framework. That's the map. Everything else is just the lawn, like what you saw through the screen door. Come wander the lawn with us at thecultofbrighterdays.org. We are a community with a Discord server, a Minecraft server, a Valheim server, a Patreon, and tons of articles. Come find us. While you're here, maybe peek at our other shorts. Maybe even, scandalous pause, subscribe. Not because we crave digital validation like caffeinated raccoons, but because the almighty algorithm is basically a half-blind trickster god. And every like, every share, every tiny click is an offering that tells it, hey, maybe more humans should stumble into this cosmic lemonade stand. Our fate, our reach, our entire cult of curious chaos rests in your fingertips. No pressure, but also a little pressure.